'Cause loving you is too hard. All I do is not enough. Hey everybody, it's Nate from Echo City Music Lab. Today I'm going to show you how to do a piano cover of Drive by Oh Wonder. This is a fun one. Let's just get into it. So I'm basing my piano arrangement on a combination of the studio recording and also a really cool stripped down acoustic version they did with just piano and guitar. I'm going to show you the full, accurate, intermediate piano part for this, but I'm going to quickly start with a way to do it with simple 3-note chords. So if you're more comfortable just playing simple chords while you sing, this version will still sound great, and it'll be the backbone to understand the more advanced part. So we only need 5 chords to do the whole song. And grab that chord chart that I linked to down in the description. Once you know these 5 chords, you can just follow along and sing through it. First chord we need is a D major. That's going to be D, F sharp, and A. So white, black, white. Next we need a F sharp minor. That's going to be F sharp, A, and C sharp. So black, white, black. Notice it's got 2 notes in common with that D major. Third chord we need is an A major. It's shaped just like the D was, but it starts on A. A, C sharp, and E. We need a B minor. That's going to be B, D, and F sharp. And the only other chord we need is an E major, shaped just like the D and the A were, but is on E, G sharp, and B. And the verse is just those first 4 chords, a measure on each of them, so we're in 4/4 time, 4 counts, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's just add some bass notes in the left hand. So single notes on the note the chord is named after. So D, then F sharp, and then A with the second finger, and B with the first finger. Sat back with the window down, 80 an hour and the radio loud. And for the chorus, instead of starting at the bottom and stepping up, we're going to start at the top and step down, and we're going to use that E major we talked about. Loving you is too hard. All I do is not enough. And that's all there is to the chorus. And the bridge is going to use the same chords as the verse, and to do that, you can just follow along with that chords and lyrics chart. Okay, so now I'm going to dive into the full piano part. So let's do the verse first. The left hand is going to do what we already talked about. You're going to use 5th finger on D, 3rd finger on F sharp, 2nd finger on A, thumb on B. And the cool thing is for the first 3 of the 4 chords, the right hand just does an E and an A. So the same thing every time. And then the left hand bass note switches again. And then for the B, you actually once again do those same 2 notes, but you also add a D and an F sharp. Sat back with the windows down, 80 an hour and the radio loud. Sounding really good. Let's add a little bit more rhythm to it. So like I said, we're in 4/4 time, and it's a pretty fast tempo, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's start thinking about the 8th note, so including the ands in between those beats. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We're going to hit the chords on beat 1 and the and after 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But I can't help but drive away from all the mess you made. You sent this hurricane, now it won't go away. And I promised I'd be there, but you don't make it easy. Darling, please believe me. And that's all there is to the verse. So let's look at the chorus, and I want to start with the left hand. So at its core, it's the same chord progression we talked about earlier. For the bass notes, we're going to do octaves for the B, and it's just a measure for each chord. And if your hand can't stretch an octave, no worries. You can just do single bass notes. It'll still sound good. So we're going to do octaves on B, and we're going to step down to octaves on A. Now when we get to the F sharp, instead of octaves, we're going to do fifths. So F sharp is the lower note and C sharp as the upper note. Same thing for the E, we're going to do fifths, so E and B together. Loving you is too hard. All I do is not enough. Needs a little more harmony, but luckily we got 2 hands. So for the B chord, while the left hand's doing those octaves, the right hand's going to play an F sharp and a D. And try not to think of this as just a random collection of notes that you're memorizing to learn this song. This is just a regular B minor chord that's been broken apart and spread out a little bit. Here's that regular B minor we talked about before. B, D, and F sharp. So the left hand is doing the B part, so we don't need this B. And then we take this F sharp here and put it down an octave there. Same 3 notes, root, 5th, 3rd. And it's gonna be the same idea for the A chord. We've got the A octaves in the left hand. We got the 5th here on E, and then your pinky's gonna do the 3rd on the C sharp there. Sounds really nice. Now here's where the left hand comes up to do those F sharp 5ths, and the right hand's just gonna do an A and a C sharp there. And then finally for the E, you go down to those E 5ths in the left hand, and actually you just do a G sharp and an A here. So it's like an E major add 4 chord. It's really pretty and adds a little bit of cool tension. Let's go through that a few more times. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 'Cause loving you is too hard. All I do is not enough. And you can play the chorus just like that and it'll sound great. I'm gonna add a little bit more rhythm if you want it. So going back to thinking about those 8th notes, we're gonna put chord hits on beat 1, and then the and after 3, and the and after 4. And on that and after 4 is where we're gonna switch to the next chord. So the chord change kind of anticipates the new measure. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. In every other measure, I'm actually not gonna do a hit. I'm just holding the chord out. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Perhaps an easier way to do it is to just map those hits onto the words you sing as you play it. 'Cause loving you is too hard. So on the second, loving you, all I do is not enough. So that time on the second, all I do. I'm gonna say the same thing I said before now. If you wanna play the whole chorus like that, it'll sound great, full stop. But for the second half of the chorus, I'm gonna add a 3rd level of difficulty for the rhythm. And I'm basing this off the piano part she plays in that stripped down live version I was talking about. It's gonna sound like this. And we can be a little bit looser with this. Basically, I'm breaking apart these chords a little bit, so rather than just playing the octaves together, you know, one at a time to create a little bit more rhythm. Same thing up here, rather than only doing those notes together, you can do them one at a time and just use a few more of those 8th notes that we have in the measures. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and... Just play around with it and feel it out. I probably won't do it the same way every time, and neither does she. But one cool thing she adds that I want to show you is for that E before it turns around, there's this little melody, and that's just G sharp, A, G sharp, F sharp, and rhythmically that's on the 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So yeah, I'm going to do the simpler rhythm for the first half of the chorus and then go into that more complicated one for the second half, so it feels like the energy kind of gets bigger in the middle of the chorus. And before we get to the second verse, it lands on this D chord as kind of a transition, a little pause after the chorus. And for that, you can just do D 5ths in the left hand, so D and A, and then the right hand can just play the 3rd of that chord, F sharp. And it holds that for 2 measures, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So from the end of the chorus into that second verse, it's going to sound like this. Loving you, I cannot be loving you, oh. Count stacks of the routine lies. Funny how easy you could see my blind side. So for that second verse, you can just play the exact same piano part as we did in the first verse, it's just different words. And that's what they do in that acoustic version. And in the studio version, there's this cool piano part that comes in the second half of that second verse. It sounds like this. And I can't help but drive away from all the mess you made. You sent this hurricane, now it won't go away. And actually that part is basically the same thing we're about to do in the bridge, so we might as well just talk about it here too. So we're doing that verse chord progression, but the left hand's gonna do 5ths for all of them. So for the D, it's gonna be D and A, up to the F sharp, it's gonna be F sharp and C sharp, then up to the A and E, and then up to the B minor, it's gonna be B and F sharp. And then for each of those chords, the right hand's just going to fill in the third. So the middle note that the chord was missing when the left hand only did the fifths. So for the D chord, it's going to fill in an F sharp. For the F sharp chord, it's going to fill in an A. For the A chord, it's going to fill in a C sharp. And then for the B minor chord, it's going to fill in a D. I love the way that sounds. Listen to how much nicer that sounds than if we just did all three of the notes in the left hand. It's got this real pretty emotional quality to it. And I was just doing thumb, second finger, fourth finger, and fifth finger in the right hand. If you want to just jump your fingers around a little bit, I'm not going to tell on you. So yeah, that's one option for a piano part to play in the second half of the second verse. Then we've got another chorus, just like the first one. And then we get to the bridge. And the piano arrangement on the bridge is really similar to what we were just talking about. Now the first line of the bridge doesn't actually go all the way to the B minor. It's just the D, F sharp minor, and A. See, I remember all the times you made me covered in crazy. Then we have all four chords. I can't forget about the way you played me, like I was never gonna change your world. The pacing's a little different there though. You've got a measure and a half of D, so 6 counts. Then just the second half of that second measure is the F sharp, so just 2 counts on the F sharp quickly before going A for 1 measure and B for 1 measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But as usual, if you know the song well enough to sing it, you might not actually have to do that counting. You can just kind of hang those chords on the words as you sing them. The second half of the bridge is very similar. We're just going to add a high octave in the right hand. So now we have to jump our right hand around. Even add an extra note on some of these, like for the F sharp minor here, where you've got the root, the fifth, the third there, and you're doing octaves on the third. Your second finger's just kind of hanging out above the C sharp anyway, and that is the fifth. You can add that in. Really similar thing on the B minor. You can just add a F sharp there. It's optional, but it makes it sound a little more full. It ended long ago, so please just let me go. It ended long ago, so please just let me go. And now we're transitioning into the last chorus, which is going to be just like the other ones, except for we're going to start it in the higher octave. So look at where my hands just ended up. To get to the chorus, my pinky's going to stay where it was on that D, and the thumb can just move to that F sharp there. And my pinky in the left hand's where it needs to be too. I'll just put my thumb here for the octave. And that's the first chord of the last chorus. Loving you is too hard. So it's kind of pulled back here. It's not only up the octave, but it's a little quieter. All I do is not enough. Loving you, I cannot be loving you. And then we kind of slam into the final climax of the song, bringing our hands back down the octave. I'm going to do all the rhythm I was doing before. Loving you leaves me hurt. All I do is get burned. Loving you, I cannot be loving you. Oh. Now the song is really getting towards the end. We've got the post-chorus, which is basically the same thing, just leaving out a couple words. Loving you. All I do, loving you, oh, loving you. And now we've got the outro. I'm just going to go back up the octave, and I'm going to do the full piano part for the chorus 2 times through. Think gentle and pretty as the song winds to a close. Alright, thanks for watching this far. I hope you're well on your way to playing an awesome cover of this song. Since we just talked about it piece by piece, I'm going to do a full cover of it now so you can see how it all fits together. If you haven't already, please subscribe, turn on the notifications so you'll know each time I release one of these videos. Give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments what songs you would like to hear next. This song was a request from a subscriber. I actually hadn't heard of Oh Wonder, but I love this song. This was fun. So here's my version of Drive. Sat back with the window down, 80 an hour and the radio loud. The same songs with the same old rhymes. Tell me to shake it off and swing from the lights, but I can't help but drive away from all the mess you made. You sent this hurricane, now it won't go away, and I promised I'd be there, but you don't make it easy. Darling, please believe me, 'cause loving you is too hard. All I do is not enough. Loving you, I cannot be loving you. Oh, loving you leaves me hurt. All I do is get burned. Loving you, I cannot be loving you. Oh, count stacks of the routine lies. Funny how easy you could see my blind side. Still the same songs with the same old beats. Sure, I could stay, but there's a place I'd rather be, and I can't help but drive away from all the mess you made. You sent this hurricane, now it won't go away, and I promised I'd be there, but you don't make it easy. Darling, please believe me, 'cause loving you is too hard. All I do is not enough. Loving you, I cannot be loving you. Oh, loving you leaves me hurt. All I do is get burned. Loving you, I cannot be loving you. Oh, see, I remember all the times you made me covered in crazy. I can't forget about the way you played me like I was never gonna change. You were. It